Hello everyone. My name is Meat Monk. I'm a rank 1 healer, and today I'm going to be reviewing some of my Restoration Druid gameplay. Now, this was the last shuffle that I played until I got number 1 on Resto Druid, and also number 1 on every healer at the same time. So, I'm just going to go through and sort of explain why I did the things I did. Now, the talents I'm playing are going to be in the description, so you can copy them. Um, I'm playing Wild Stalker and for my hero talents, which a lot of people don't agree with, but I agree with it, and I did get number 1 with it. So yeah. Anyways, um, so this lobby is Asarogue, Demolock, Feral Druid, Destro. Now, Pres Evoker is pretty bad for Restoration Druid because what can happen is they have a Fire Breath Purge, which pretty much takes off all of your heal over times. So this guy can purge all of my healing, do like 1,000,000 damage, and it's just really bad, and it can just cause like huge swings of pressure against my team. Which, if I don't have like overgrowth to reapply hots instantly with the fire breath purge, it can be really bad. So anyways, I go in 2 life blooms on each of the DPS. That's just the best thing to do. And then I toss a Sen Ward and I instantly go stealth. I like to pop my sprint and stealth in the opener because roar is better anyways, and you're not really running away in cat that much. I got caught out by the Destro lock, so I just reapply both of my life blooms. And here, off of the sap, I usually like to push in for a clone. So I pushed in, Feral Druid opened me. It's a little bit unlucky. My lock gets hit with a CC, so I like to instantly dispel him. And if you guys want to get like better awareness for stuff like that, because he got dispelled like within the second on that fear, I would recommend the add-on called Big Debuffs, because that allows, like, you see that how this root is really big. That allows me to instantly see, okay, my teammate's rooted, I can dispel this. Same thing with the fear over there. Now, unfortunately, I don't have a spell for 4 seconds, so I can't really push in, get him. But I'm just mainly focusing on keeping my life blooms up before targets take damage. The sleepwalk here, it breaks. Now here's tip the scales from the evoker. I'm just staying back and I'm trying to parse as much healing as you can. Against pres evokers, something that I would definitely recommend is to just stay back until their null shrouds are off. Because right now, unless your teammates CC the evoker 3 times, get the shrouds off, you're not going to be able to CC the healer. So you're pretty much not able to get any pressure for the first 30 seconds of the game. Also, pretty much every evoker likes to use their tip the scales fire breath in like the first 30 seconds of the game as well. So here I'm just trying to not get behind and just, keep my team alive. While dealing with the fire breath purge, which you see gets a sleepwalk, and then he goes and he pops in a second. Unfortunately, the sleepwalk did break because I have 8 stacks of wither, which is really lucky for me. But otherwise, positionally against a pres evoker, you want to stay back during their shrouds. Just make sure that you're maximizing your hots, because they're going to try and purge. They're going to try and oppress sleepwalk you. And if you're not in a pillar, and if you're in the middle of the map, like trying to clone off shrouds, that's just not what you want to do. Okay, so out of this main, I'm just playing back, playing very passive. And you'll notice that I'm always keeping my life bloom stacked. I always have 3 stacks of life bloom up pretty much. And then once I have life bloom, I go for like rejuves and stuff like that. So now right here, I see that my pres evoker, he's got shrouds fading. So soon, probably gonna push in, and right there, boom. See, I'm aware that this guy's shrouds is fading in 5. So what I do is, when his shroud still has 3 seconds left, I pop my Heart of the Wild, I reposition to line all of the DPS here. I'm out of line of the Destro lock, I'm out of line of the Feral, and as soon as his shroud ends, I just hit him with a full clone instantly. And that's a really good play, because Warlock here, he's 68% health, so we're gonna get a lot of pressure off of this. So I'm going hots, going for a reclone. I get it. Clean. pre-bear the Mame on me, even though they're not really going me. And then here, right here, when I'm in a stun, I'm pretty much just focusing on refreshing my life blooms out of this, because right here, you see my life bloom has 1 second left, and I have 3 stacks of focused blooms. And now this means that it took me 3 globals to get all of these globals. So the global that you need to be pressing out of this is life bloom. Now, to be honest, I actually messed up here. I'm gonna fucking just take back what I said for the past 5 seconds. Actually, here it would be better for me to just press Swift Mend because I have the hot extension. But I press life bloom and then I go Swift Mend. It doesn't really matter because, like, obviously if he's like 10%, I'm gonna press Swift Mend, but he isn't, so it's what it is. Anyways, right here, I get a clone. I get a clone. Surely we get a clone. DR is off on the Pres Evoker. We just have overwhelming pressure, so I'm just focusing on doing anything I can, and we just win the game. So like, some things to take away from that round. I'm just gonna like summarize it because sometimes I stumble on my words. I'm a horrible explainer. Against a Pres Evoker, you're gonna want to play really passive during Shrouds. Ideally, you save your overgrowth for after they NS Fire Breath purge, because that'll allow you to get like 4 hots back after they just purged like 5 of your hots. And you're gonna have to play like back on a pillar so that you don't get sleepwalked by the evoker, so he doesn't run in like a press sleepwalk you. And then as soon as his shroud's over, you can try to push in for clone. Sometimes it's not like the best option. Like right there, it was really easy for me to clone the healer because my Asarogue had a lot of pressure for us. But like, let's say it was a different situation where we're taking a lot of damage, I might just opt to clone the DPS off. So there we go, round 1 win. Now we have another round with the Asarogue. So in a lobby like this, an Asarogue is pretty much just set up to 6-0. So, you know, I'm just gonna try my best to stop him from winning every round. So here against this comp, pretty much always want to go to the Warlock and just like cleave. Feral can die too. But yeah. Okay, boom, boom, boom. Now here, same opener, life bloom, Zen Ward, stealth. Just pushing in because my rogue can get a sap, and this is like the one thing where you like can push in sometimes, is if right here, you see my rogue's getting saps, he gets another sap, I push in behind the pillar so that Law can't CS me, and I get a full clone off of the sap. And that's good. That's like, before he gets his shrouds, the rogue saps him, and I come in to push off of it and get a full clone. The lock ports to room, which means that we actually have a really good go for Feral here. So deep shot him, and I would have loved to root him back in the room, but I still get the root anyways. My guy garrotes him. I'm tossing a bash for even more CC. Just really spamming all the DRs that I can. Okay. So I should probably focus on like more of like how I'm healing. So pretty much healing rotation for our Druid is you're gonna want to send ward off cooldown. Make sure that you always have life blooms up to like 3 stacks, you know, because you don't really and pretty much just spam your treants whenever they come off seat. So yeah, see right here, as soon as we get NS Fire Breath purged, I instantly double life bloom just to deal with the pressure. That's like the #1 priority, is make sure that you have your life blooms up. If you don't have your life blooms up, you're not going to do healing. Obviously, let's say you have a target at like 10%, you know, the fastest healing there would be to rejuve into a Swift Mend, into like a Nature Swiftness. But in this case, when my team is still like 70%, I'm going to be spamming my life blooms out and try to get my blooms up. Yep, right there, I got 2 life blooms on the guy they were killing. Now, I am stuck in a full fear. I'm just going to spam Iron Bark out of this. Oh, actually, didn't Iron Bark. Yeah, that was good. And here, Prez still has 3 stacks of Shroud, but I'm just going to go for clones on them anyway, since he's very pushed in, and they don't really have, like, any offensive like Feral Incarn's over. It's a demo lock. He's nowhere near me, and I get three free clones. Clone the nulls off, and right here, something very important that I did is that whenever I got this first clone, I noticed that after this Feral Druid is running away, my Rogue doesn't instantly follow. So you can see right here, I'm casting a reclone right here, but I see that my Rogue is standing on top of this guy, which means that, my Rogue probably has Kidney. So I fake cast this, and he instantly kidneys him off of that. And then the evoker communions the kidney, so I clone the communion, and I mean, this was just disgusting value right here. I see that my rogue is waiting on top of the evoker, so I don't do anything. I fake cast my clone. He gets the full kidney. The evoker communions the clone, which is a pretty bad play when I have Heart of the Wild and I'm right on top of him. So I get a free clone off that, and then you can AIDS evokers by rooting them a lot, which is why I'm playing Mass Entanglement, because if you root an evoker healer, they can't use Verdant Embrace, and Verdant Embrace is a very powerful heal for evoker that gives them a modifier that allows their next living flame to be faster cast and do a lot more healing, and their Dream Breath to do a lot more healing as well. So it's very important to just to root evoker out of a CC chain. It can really mess with them. Root them again, and you can actually see right here why this triple DR root was so good. So boom, we'll roll it back, clone the communion, and then after the communion, we root him, and then we cast a triple DR root and watch his character. So right here, boom, that is the Verdant Embrace animation right there that he just completed. And I 1 second rooted it, which means that he, right here, doesn't get his Verdant Embrace buff, and he doesn't get the healing from his Verdant Embrace either. So he doesn't get both of the modifiers, and he doesn't get the healing, and the ability goes on cooldown. So that was an insane value. Triple DR root, wait for the kidney, clone the communion right there. That was a series of absolutely disgusting plays. And now something that I can do off of this, I can maybe push in for like a triple DR, but let's see what I do. This is my first time watching it back, so I'm just sort of like trying to like figure out why I did the things that I did, on the fly. Okay, so stay back. I'm just putting hots up, and I do get a clone on the Feral Druid. That's good. Unfortunately, Evoker's on pretty much every single DR, but he's off DR in 2, so I'm probably, since we got a lot of pressure from me, like, cloning everything and all of that, I'm just going to be simply looking for a clone off DR. I get it. Right as the DR falls, he's instantly put into a full clone. He does dilate the demo lock, and he trinkets, which is why I ran up to him, because you see right here, my rogue's just going really hard on this Feral Druid. So I clone him, I stand on top of him, bash his trinket, and I mean, they actually lived that. Wow, I was expecting them to die there, and I would have been like, yeah, that's why they got shit on. But anyways, get one more clone, dispel. You don't really have to worry about like casting into a demo lock, because their pet like stun thing is like 30 seconds long. I don't track it personally because I don't care about it. Demo locks are cringe. It's a stupid spec. So yeah, right there, no bash, no skull bash from the feral, and no quell from the evoker. Just allows me to get clones really freely here. Yeah. My rogue's kind of taking a lot of damage, so I armbarked him here. Block's kind of popping off on him. I pre-bear form as soon as I get kicked right there, and they're just so behind that this is like impossible for them to recover. And right here, as soon as I see Feral has no kick, he's in a kidney, I just go for this clone. Now, yes, the evoker could kick this, but I don't really care if he kicks it, because they're all so dead. I'm just gonna cast it. If he kicks it, whatever, I'll just go for it again in 2 seconds. We're like taking no damage. If they chase me, I'll just run out of his healer's line so his healer can't heal him. And I get the full clone, and surely the Feral Druid finally dies after all of that. So that was really good. Just as like an example to like see, where your teammates actually are. Because right here, if I actually didn't wait for my rogue that just is standing still on top of the healer waiting for clone to end, if I pressed Cyclone here, he probably just would have trinketed this. He might have not even had the communion, and or he definitely wouldn't have had the communion if he just trinketed that. And then like this is what got us all that pressure. You know, we got the Verdant Embrace into the root, and I mean, it was just insane pressure off that, which then just enabled me to just sit on top of them and clone. Yeah, pretty much versing evokers is all about pressure, and the problem is that sometimes evokers can just get you really behind because they'll run in with null shrouds, they'll fire breath purge all of your hots, and you know they're gonna fly on you, they're gonna stun you. You have to just you just have to be very careful. But if you can get really good clones and avoid all of the evoker stuff, it makes the game. I think the lock dies in the opener here. So I don't know. Yeah, that game's not worth watching. And to be honest, getting a win with an Asa Rogue, it's easy. You know, those were the easy parts of the game. So now we're gonna get into like some of the hard games where you know you actually have to like outplay even harder. And you know, like the clones aren't just given to you. Like, oh, I just clone off of Kidney here. It's you know. So yeah, right here, pretty much it's in this matchup, it's really important for me to land Cyclones on the healer, because the biggest cooldown from a Pres Evoker is Emerald Communion, and they can't use that while they're in a Cyclone. So as long as I'm like really annoying with my Cyclones on the Pres Evoker, he's gonna be like kind of uncomfortable with not being able to use his biggest cooldown. So yeah, anyways, run in, opener, 2 life blooms, toss a Sen Ward, go stealth. My lock kind of just didn't drop his port for like a few seconds. It's a little awkward, but alright, we're all good. We're running in. My guy gets sapped, and as soon as I see sap on this guy, and the demo lock is already opening Feral, my lock is really behind. He's in a sap, and they just stunned my Feral Druid, or the demo lock just stunned my Feral Druid at like 80% health. So instantly, instantly, I open this with an Overgrowth and a Treant just to get max hots out. And now this is annoying. Perhaps I should have been back on pillar here. I was probably way too pushed up here because now the rogue's just right on top of me. So a better play was to like just play back at room, and if I overgrowthed him from room, I could just dip around the pillar real quick on this stun. But instead, now they're able to swap me. I do go bear form before I get stunned at all here, so they can't really go me. Rogue just chooses not to stun me, then he PR stuns. That's fine. Okay, I'm just making sure I keep my life blooms up, you know. If you have no heals to press and your teammates are 100%, just make sure that you're keeping up that triple stack of life bloom. It's going to be very important. So right here, I'm just spam rooting the rogue, trying to make it really annoying for him. I cast a clone. I get kicked. It's no big deal because, you know, they're really not popping a lot. So what I choose to do is I'm like, I really need to clone this rogue. Because this rogue is going to be the difference maker of this game. If we just let the rogue just run around and Fan of Knives, cleave, garrote, triple dot us, stun us whenever we want, we're going to lose the game really fast. So I need to shut down the rogue in this matchup as much as I can. So right here, you see he has this 5-second buff, and this 5-second buff is called Subterfuge. And for Asa rogues, Subterfuge is like their main way of doing damage. It allows them to press spells that they can press while they're in stealth, and that includes like Garrote. So right here, when he has Subterfuge up, he's going to be trying to get Garrotes off and get bleeds off. So I get a clone on him there, and now my Feral Druid also got a clone on the Pres Evoker. So this just allows us to get double CC and go really hard on the demo lock here. And remember what I said about cloning Pres Evokers, it's really, really annoying for them. So I instantly, off of this clone, I see that my Feral Druid can't cast a reclone, so I clone the healer off of it. I don't really care if the rogue gets a re here. I'm just trying to CC the healer so that the healer can't get that. And you see right here, he trinkets instantly, and I cast a triple DR clone on his trinket, and then I full clone the guy that they're going. So right here, obviously, Rogue could have been on me to stop this, yada yada, but he probably just wasn't really expecting it since all the clone DRs were over on the healer. So boom, DR clone his trinket. It's always good to like just fake cast clone, because sometimes people will trinket your clone instantly, and if you're already casting another clone, you can just clone their trinket like 0.1. And that's kind of what I did. I did it faster than usual since I already had a clone cast in the air. And then since I'm spec'd into a PvP talent that gives my clone like an extra 10-yard range, I'm allowed to just instantly swap this clone on the Prez Evoker's trinket and on the Demo Lock's wall, which is absolutely gross here. Like, this is disgusting what I just did to them. I triple DR clone his trinket, and then I clone him on his wall. No trinket. He's CC'd for his whole wall at 40%. Unfortunately, we don't really have anything to go off of that, so they're probably going to recover off of this. But it's just, it's going to be really infuriating, and it's going to allow them not to push in and get a lot of pressure on us. So, yep, he's topping him, kind of. He's kind of struggling, but that's fine. It doesn't matter. Now here, I'm going to just go over, like, something to do for heals. So, I get kidneyed right here. And I see that they obviously want to go my Warlock because, Warlock is probably going to be main kill target here. So as soon as I'm out of this, I'm spamming Life Bloom. I get my Life Bloom up, and then I instantly go into Send Ward. Send Ward is a really strong heal. So you're going to want to press it on cooldown. But you want to, like, make sure to get a Life Bloom up first, which is what I did. So you can see right there, I get Life Bloom up, I get Send Ward, and I get Rejuve. So I'm spec'd into a talent that makes Rejuve do like 15% of its overall healing with the first press. So this just allows me to, get more hots up right here, etc. So now here, I thought I could line this Sleepwalk, but a better thing to do right here, after this, just gotta let it come back. Waiting. I could have just Shadow Melded this instead of trying to run to Pillar. So if I Shadow Melded this cast, I wouldn't have been stuck in this full sleep, and it would have been a lot less sketchy. So now, the Evoker tipped the scale Fire Breaths, my Feral Druid. So instantly, I run in, I Overgrowth him, which gives him back a lot of hots. Now, this is very sketchy. To be honest, my Feral should just press Renew here. We're in kind of a tough spot. But anyways, I drop a Soul of the Forest Nature Swiftness right there. So you can see right there, he's going to press Tip the Scales Fire Breath. He uses it. Instantly, I Overgrowth to reapply all the hots. Now, generally, like, into Evokers, when they tip the skill Fire Breath, you usually want to try and save your Overgrowth for it. Now, it doesn't exactly work out that way every time, but ideally, you use that, like, after he uses that, like in an opener. Here was just a really good coincidence where I had Overgrowth right as he tipped the skill Fire Breath, so that was really lucky. And one thing to know is that the build I'm playing, all right, my headset died there. But I was gonna say something about the hero talents that I'm playing. So the hero talents that I'm spec'd into, it's called Wild Stalker. And what Wild Stalker does is whenever you press Swift Bend, you see these two little hots right there. You might have been wondering what they are. So this is called like Symbiotic Bloom or something. And whenever I press Swift Bend, it procs these blooms on whoever I choose to Swift Bend. And that makes them like take like, I think it's like 25% increased healing. So it's a lot of single target healing, which is really good because like if like an Acer is just training one target down, and it can get a little hard to heal through that MS. So right here, I Swift Mend my Warlock to get Symbiotic Blooms on him, just to make sure that he has healing. And then I take one of my Nature Swiftnesses, and I put that on the Feral Druid to top them. So this is how I spread out my healing, is I use Swift Mend, proc the blooms on this guy, and then I Nature Swiftness the Feral Druid, who the Rogue isn't hitting, and, he doesn't have Wound Poison on. You see right here, Wound Poison on the Lock, no Wound Poison on the Feral Druid. So that NS is going to do a lot more, but on the Warlock, those 3 stacks of Symbiotic Blooms are going to make him a lot tankier and take more healing. which is pretty much all we need to counter Deathmark, because Deathmark is just a huge dot that slowly rots down. So those symbiotic blooms are going to be like, better than a nature swiftness, especially since they're training down my warlock and they're not hitting my feral druid. Because if I NS my lock there and I have blooms on the feral, it's like it doesn't really matter because the feral's not taking damage, but the lock's taking damage, so the blooms are going to help him a lot more. So yeah. Anyways, right here, I'm just spam rooting the rogue, trying to annoy him. I pretty much just mass root whoever I can off cooldown. I think it's really good. And now the rogue tosses a kidney onto my feral druid, and I instantly look at the rogue. He's off DR. I have a bash available. I bash him on this kidney, so he can't get any pressure at all. And now I do something that some resto druids don't agree with. I bash and I go and I pop a wild growth. Now, my view on wild growth is that it should be pressed, but in moderation. So obviously it costs a lot of mana and it's not very good. But the thing that wild growth does that is good is it is an extra heal over time effect. And with Resto Druid Mastery, the wild growth will, help with extra healing. So it is what it is. We're dying to Acerog bleeds. The little extra wild growth, it couldn't hurt to press. And I actually think it kind of makes a difference. I do feel the wild growth sometimes in my healing. So I pop that wild growth right there, and usually I save wild growth for dampening. Wild growth is not something that you want to press in like the opener and solo shuffle, because in 0 to 20% dampening, your heals should be able to take care of it. You shouldn't really have to press wild growth at all, in any scenario, because your other heals are just simply stronger. You're gonna be able to do healing, but when it starts to get dampening, it gets a little bit harder to do healing, which is why sometimes I'll press wild growth a little bit or even a lot in dampening. So right here, something that is important to do with Soul of the Forest is you don't always need to press Soul of the Forest on your Nature Swiftness. So I don't really use Nature Swiftness a lot. I think I've only done one NS this game, and it was on their whole Deathmark go. So right here, I push in. They're going my feral really hard, so I Swift Bend to proc Symbiotic Blooms on him, and then I also give him a big Soul of the Forest rejuve. Now here, something that I could have done that would have been one global better was to just instantly dispel him since he's at 90%, and then reapply my Soul of the Forest thing. Okay. So right here, I leap in, and since the Prez and the Acerog are stacking, like I said earlier, it's just always good to just spam the roots on cooldown. So I run in, I root him just to annoy him. That allows us to get a clone on Shroud or something, and I think the rogue actually cloaks there because he can't really get away. He gets feared and then bolted. We get cloak from rogue. So right there, I toss a mass root. Oh wait, that actually wasn't my mass root. I thought it was my mass root. I'm fried. But that was a good mass root. That's what I would have done. That's what I would have done. So again, another mass root. We're just really annoying them with these mass roots. They can't move. And here they're going my lock really hard. So I'm just making sure to keep Send Ward up, get both of my rejuves up, get triple life blooms up, just so he doesn't die. And here I'm just simply parsing HPS because we have the pressure. They're pretty much sitting in room. We're just dying because Resto Druid is so bad that it doesn't do healing. So he's just dying to Demo Pets slowly. I even toss an Iron Bark on him just for the healing. And then we live to my Swift Mend. And the thing I love about Wildstalker is that, sure, the other build is a lot more consistent AoE healing, but with Wildstalker, when you Swift Mend, it doesn't matter the dampening, you will feel that Swift Mend. I promise you will feel all of that healing increase right there. So here, I top my Warlock. We're really pushing in on them. There's not a lot they can do. I root the lock, and it connects to the rogue. So they're double rooted. And now here, the rogue stealths, and he instantly runs at me. So I pre-bear for him to go on me, just so he can't go me. He just dots me up a little bit, and then he swaps off of me. You can see right here, I root him. The guy like vanishes, runs at me. I pre-bear just so he can't swap me because I have no hots. He could go me if I was like out of form. It's 52% damp. You know, there is a chance that I get soloed. I have Trinket, Trank, Bark Skin, and I'm in bear form though, so you know, it's not gonna happen here. He's gonna try to kill somebody else. So, you know, a bear form, a bark skin, he starts swapping around. And something very important that I'm doing is I'm keeping my life blooms. Now, this is a bad play by my feral druid. My feral druid goes in room at 54% damp and fucking gets full kidneyed behind my loss. But that's fine because I go travel form, I wall charge in instantly, swift mend, get my symbiotic bloom up for healing. I toss a nature swiftness off of that just to keep him topped. And I think right out of here, I reapply my life bloom and instantly stem ward. So that's like the most that's like the best way to heal there is I run in, I use my swift mend, which is like my really big single target heal. And it's a 15-second cooldown just to get that off cooldown. And with my Soul of the Forest, instead of using this on a rejuve here, I use it on a nature swiftness because if I use it on a rejuve, it wouldn't really top him. And I just want to give him health right now so he can push in and kill the warlock because it's really high damp. That NS is going to keep him alive for a while. So, you know, NS right there. I had triple DR corroded, keeping up my life blooms, get my Sem ward up, spamming rejuve. I even put a life bloom on myself because when you have life blooms on yourself, whenever you have a life bloom on yourself and a life bloom on a teammate, it's gonna make their hots like heal faster or tick faster. I forget exactly what the talent is, but if you have like full hots on somebody and they're still dying through full hots, you can always toss a life bloom on yourself and that'll make them take more healing. So I do that right there. I just trank because they're triple 20%. It's 60% damp. They're not going to recover from this. I just want to make sure that my team is just nice and healthy at 100%. And then out of that, since the rogue is still stacked on me, in 1 second, boom, right there. Rogue's still stacked on me. Out of that coil, he trinkets that coil. I bash his trinket, and it's just over. They had zero chance to win this at all. We absolutely dominated them. So I think this is the last round that I'm gonna do. It's double caster against double melee. This can be pretty tricky. This was a pretty. I don't even know. It was an alright opener. I go in and I just instantly root the Pres Evoker off of his mount, reroute him. I was trying to annoy him. Now the Feral Druid had like some weird thing going on with his Rake Stun, where he somehow Rake Stun me from down there. Then he had to get travel time to try and clone me off of it. So he clones me, tries to cast a Sleepwalk. If I got a pressed on this, that probably would have been like a better play. But this is kind of scary. I meld that Sleepwalk cast, and I Overgrowth Ironbark him. Now here he overlaps wall, which is really bad. And to be honest, just a reason why I probably should have just stayed in the room, stayed in stealth, and waited for them to open. Because then I wouldn't have gotten hit by that clone or that Sleepwalk. So, you know, pushing in on an Evoker with Shroud with everything just to cast Roots on him in the opener, it's not a good play. You guys shouldn't do that. Instead, if he runs in with Shroud, you're just gonna want to stay stealth, play passive. Just don't do what I did there because it was kind of troll. And I don't really blame my Warlock for walling there, but I definitely did hit him and we definitely didn't need to use the wall. So yeah, anyways, you can see right here, against double melee, they usually like to train just one target. They don't usually swap around a lot, especially with a Demo Lock on the team. So right here, I apply Life Bloom to myself and my Destro Lock because when I had the comp, we just strictly trained the Destro Lock, didn't look at the Demo whatsoever, and just single target, train him into the ground. So I have Life Bloom on myself and Life Bloom on my Destro Lock so he takes more healing. And now you can notice that I'm targeting the Pres Evoker who got full feared into a corner. And now here the best play off of this is when he's that far away from the rogue and the game, is to just root him off of that. So I full root him. We force cloak from the rogue. He can't really trinket or like do anything about this root. He just got out of a coil, so he's gonna have to take a second to dispel his root and run in. You see, he dispels the root and then he runs in. I hit him with the reroot instantly, and then the goes over. Now, something that you can do when they're like not really going a guy but going a guy, like they're kind of dotting my demo lock, but they're not committing like any of their kidney shots or anything to them. Like the feral maimed him, but he didn't really have any like damage for him. So what I do here is I keep 2 rejuves on him, and I use my Swift Mend into him, just so I can proc my Symbiotic Blooms into him and give him a little bit of extra healing, you know, just besides the 2 rejuves. You know, it's really gonna help spread out my healing, you know. So, you know, Life Blooms on this guy, I proc my Symbiotic Blooms on this guy, Life Blooms on myself, which also heal me and help my my Destrolock get more healing with HOTS. Right here, Sleepwalk, nothing I can really do about that. I did proc my Soul of the Forest off of this Warlock, so I Trinket, and I instantly pop into an NS. He gets full cloned here, and as soon as he gets cloned, I know they don't want to swap my Demo Lock, because my Demo Lock right here, he's got Wall, he's got Pact. Demo Locks are already really tanky. They're not going to want to swap to him. They're gonna want to swap me, because, you know, Druids can die. So I instantly run to the pillar just to make it so that I'm not in the open, because right here, kind of in the open, as soon as he gets cloned, I dip around the pillar and I make it really hard. You know, they either have to like hard commit to me, and then I'm in LOS of my lock, just able to like fear this guy if he needs to. You know, I'm not just in the open, so you know, evoker has to push in here. I charge him, I root him, and you know, that's just really important with positioning. And then, as you can see right here, we punish them, you know, slightly trying to push in. Like this Feral Druid, he's trying to push in, he's trying to go me off of the clone, and his team really isn't with him because I went to pillar right there. And then my Destrolock gets out of the clone, he starts teeing off on the Feral Druid, who I moved to create distance from. Now he can't kick the Destrolock's bolts here, and we actually just almost land a kill here. So yeah, right there, pop a little Wild Growth here just for the extra HOTS, and then instantly, as soon as I see that my Life Blooms have fallen from my Destrolock, I'm instantly back to just reapplying those Life Blooms. You know, very important. Just making sure that you have 3 stacks. So right here, when he tries to sleepwalk me, I can simply just dodge this one by just running into the pillar and just lining. You can see right here, he goes for the sleepwalk. I just line, hug the pillar, and then I can go for a clone on him myself. Since I have Heart of the Wild up, you know, it's not a good idea for a Pres Evoker to push in to a Resto Druid with Heart of the Wild, you know, and try and land that CC battle. So, you know, right there, I get a full clone. The Evoker Communions, which means that now he has no Trinket, no Communion. Feral Druid has no Trinket. You know, like the least that he could have is like maybe like Bark Skin, a Wall, or a Heal or something. So now they're slightly trying to go my Warlock, but that's fine because my Warlock can just wall. And then after this wall, if they try to commit my Demo Lock, which would be a mistake because then they would leave my Destrolock free casting, and Demo Lock is tankier than a Destrolock because they have like pets, they have Soul Leech, like bunch of stupid stuff that makes it really hard. So yeah, the Feral Druid just clones him on his wall and tries to keep going the Destrolock, which is why you see right here, I make sure that I have Life Bloom on myself and on the Destrolock. Right here, boom, Sem Ward off cooldown. Just keeping a little bit of HOTS onto my Demo, just so they can't swap him. I don't want to have like absolutely 0 HOTS because he is just slowly taking damage from bleeds. So right here, I Ironbark my guy. Pretty much this was more of like a preemptive Ironbark because right here he's got Adaptive Swarm, he's got a bunch of bleeds on him. I'm off of Stun DR, so I just Ironbark him, and I do get it before the Feral Druid Leap maims me, which is great. Unfortunately, I get cloned off of that. I really would have liked to Swift Mend my Destrolock to refresh that. And you can see right here, they can't really like push in and try to kill him through Iron Bark. That allows us just to get some pressure, because as soon as I Iron Bark, this rogue just runs away to like try and get a re-stealth for Garrotes. Which in my opinion is a mistake, because we're just completely shitting on them this whole time. Now I mean this game's just over. Like, what are they gonna do? I put full hots up, and here's something that you can do is Trank actually does do a good amount of healing. You can see right here I have full hots up. My lock is dying through full hots, life bloom on myself, and even had a symbiotic bloom that's about to fade right now. So I pretty much have nothing else that I can press for him right now. And he ports right there. So in a second, I'll show you why I tranked for healing right here. So Sen Ward, the guy's got full hots on him. I have life bloom on myself, like I said, and he's got Feral Frenzy on him, which means that he's going to be taking a lot of damage here. It's also the Feral Druid's Incarn. So right as he Incarns here, I trank. The rogue pushes in. He's unable to CC me on this, and then I overgrowth out of it. I swift bend. I have full hots. Actually, I don't have a single rejuve up right now. Those must have just got purged. Yeah, it just got purged. So right here, trank. He ports on the Feral Frenzy. I'm getting my trank caught up, which helps with my mastery. And then as soon as he goes for this fire breath, I have my overgrowth to maybe soak some of the hots, and then I thing. Unfortunately, my my Soul of the Forest got purged because I was in that. I was in his fire breath, which is really unlucky for me right here. But then instantly, I apply as much rejuves as I can, just as much healing, and I go for a Rudolph on the Pres evoker, because at 51% damp, it's gonna be a lot better to go in for CC like off of his CC than try to just heal through it, because I'm not really going to do a lot of healing. The Pres evoker is going to be able to do more healing than me, because he has the Astrorogue on his team. Even though we do have Demo MS, I'm pretty sure Astrorogue's a lot stronger. So we won that round. This video is a little long. It's 42 minutes. So I'm just going to cut it off right here. I'm not going to go through the 6th round, but at the end of this round, I do win it, and then, or actually no, I lost this round. I lost this round because I suck. So it's a good thing we don't go over that. But I got number 1 Resto Druid, and then I got number 1 on every healer at the same time. So I hope you guys enjoy that. I'm gonna try and make a lot of content on YouTube, just reviewing my own gameplay and sort of trying to explain the things that I did. Now I'm pretty bad at Restoration Druid, so you know, I hopefully you could learn some things. Even though I'm definitely not the best, I still feel like I have a lot of improvement to be made. But yeah, there we go. That's how I got number 1 on every healer. If you have any questions in the comments, answer them. Talents in the description. You can join my Discord, ask me questions there. I'm live on Twitch every day, pretty much. My Twitch also is gonna be in the description, so you can watch me there. Anyways, peace out. Thanks for watching. Sorry if this video is a little long. If you see some parts that you like, make sure to like the video, and peace.